Hi Internet. Fun fact about me. I never learned how to let it go when people who are supposed to care about me disappoint me. I want to be loved for the whole of who I am, and that can be hard when the people who I want to love me fundamentally don't understand parts of who I am or my everyday experience and my life, and just aren't interested in learning about them. Anyways, this story, like all terrible stories, starts on Facebook. I should really stop going on Facebook. Nothing good ever happens there. So, it's Equal Pay Day 2019. I put 2 images up on Facebook with a caption about the complexity of gender, race, and ability as it refers back to the wage gap. Facebook is not the best platform for having conversations that convey nuance or complexity, which I remembered as soon as someone commented, "Interesting how white men are used here for some reason when Asian men seem to make even more," which was disappointing, but not surprising and also not relevant. So now let's talk about how when it comes to conversations about economic success in the United States, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, or AAPI, are often pointed to as exemplary achievers or as the model minority. But the narrative that all Asians are relatively homogenous and successful is inaccurate and puts many communities at risk of being underserved by their local, state, and federal governments. There are more than 17 million members of nearly 50 different races and ethnicities that, because of the way we collect and present data, are all categorized as one monolithic group of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. This aggregated data hides significant differences in socioeconomic indicators like median income, employment rate, and educational attainment. And hiding these differences in the data can end up preserving ethnic-based inequities among many subgroups under the AAPI umbrella. This all started because I wanted to have a conversation about the complexity of the world on Facebook for some reason. I still want to engage in economic and social issues in a nuanced way, and I believe you can still do that on the internet, although I have given up entirely on Facebook. Facebook is the quicksand of the internet. You just wanted to go have a fun adventure, but then it slowly sucks you in, and then you're trapped there until it slowly and inevitably kills you. But back to my original post on that Reddit hell site, the person that I was talking to was trying to make the point that Asians are overall the highest earning racial and ethnic group in the United States. Was their point accurate? Yes. Should we dig deeper into that point in order to have a more nuanced conversation that better acknowledges the complexity surrounding the model minority myth? Also, yes. Because yes, Asians overall are the highest earning racial and ethnic group in the United States. But that is not a status shared by all Asians. For example, income inequality, which has increased steadily in the United States since the 1970s. Across all Americans, the gap between the highest and lowest earners in America increased by 27% between 1970 and 2016. However, the rise in income inequality varies from one racial group to another, and in the United States, income inequality is now greatest among Asians, having nearly doubled from 1970 to 2016. Unfortunately, the AAPI community doesn't often come up in conversations about income inequality, partially because of the data that presents us as a monolithic model minority that is doing relatively well compared to other groups. We can't address the distinct structural barriers faced by certain AAPI communities because their experiences aren't collected by our existing data collection process. You can't solve problems you don't know about and that you're not trying to understand. So what can we do about it? Well, you can call out anti-Asian racism when you see it. You can tell your representatives and federal agencies that it's necessary to disaggregate data on future surveys, including the 2030 census. Also, you can fill out the 2020 census. It's time to do it, and you should make sure you're counted. Also, delete your Facebook. It's not worth it. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe, watch another video of mine, or support me on Patreon. And hey, I love you.